Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.
the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Today on Sports Files, it's a discussion on the state of the Memphis Tigers football program. What does the future hold? And to break it down, I'll be joined by former Tigers star turned local television sportscaster Marcus Doc Holliday. And it's next on Sports Files. As we join you today, the Memphis Tigers football team already played Temple earlier today, and since we taped earlier in the week, we don't have that result. Of course, after last week's heartbreaking loss to Houston and the prior week's home drubbing by Navy, the Tigers were trying to avoid a third straight defeat in their game with the Owls. Now, at one point this season, the Tigers were ranked 13th in the first week of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee's top 25. It was national recognition the program had never received. There were even numerous national columnists and broadcasters who felt 13 was extremely low for a Tiger squad that was unblemished and had beaten SEC foe Ole Miss. Now, aside from the attention the team was receiving, head coach Justin Fuente and star quarterback Paxton Lynch were also garnering well-deserved recognition. Fuente's name surfaced for seemingly every open job in college football, and the name Paxton Lynch shot up the boards after draft guru Mel Kiper Jr. rated the redshirt junior as a top prospect. But as soon as the Tigers started to gain all the attention, they dropped back-to-back games, and the talk of a New Year's Six bowl game was over. With that said, the Tigers still have an opportunity to post back-to-back 10-win seasons, and that is something to get excited over. So with the success of the past two seasons, what can Memphis do moving forward? Where can this program be in 5 years? And have they done enough in the eyes of a Power 5 conference that may be looking to expand? These are just some of the topics we'll discuss today as I'm joined by former Tigers great Marcus Doc Holliday. It's a progress report on Memphis Tigers football, and it's next on Sports Files. Doc, great to have you on the show.
Hey, glad to be here, Greg. Appreciate it, my man.
Thank you so much for your time. So let me ask you this before we dive into what's been going on with Tiger football in 2015. What was the perception of Memphis football around the country when you played for the Tigers?
I think people knew. I'll take that back because I remember when we went to play USC, Southern Cal in 1991. They had no idea who we were. They were like, "Oh, Memphis." You know, in Laguna Beach, they were like, oh, Memphis State, Memphis. I didn't know you all had a football. But that was on the West Coast. But teams in down south, they knew that we played football, and they knew we played good, tough football, and they knew we had a lot of talent. So we had respect down south, but nationwide, they didn't really know too much about us.
So again, regionally, it was fine, but from a national standpoint, who was Memphis?
Exactly. That's exactly the comments we would get. Like I told you, when we went out to USC and played a team like that. But anytime we played Tennessee, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, of course they knew who we were because we had some success against those teams.
Here we are in 2015. A couple of weeks ago, the first rankings come out for the playoff selection committee, or by the playoff selection committee. Memphis is there at number 13. You can't get better exposure than be a top 25 team in the playoff committee's first top 25, you're Memphis football. What does that mean to have Memphis's name called out and there on the graphics for people now who maybe did not know what Memphis football was all about? Now they see it in black and white.
I think it's just absolutely unbelievable and incredible what this football program has come to under coach, under Justin Fuente. He's done an incredible job, and not only that, the players that he has, they've done an incredible job. So just to see Memphis ranked 13th and being in the discussion nationally, college football playoffs, even now, where they are, I think it's just an unbelievable season. I think Fuente is turning this into a great football program, not just having great teams. So to see them ranked 19th in the college football playoff poll, man, it was absolutely incredible. Not only being a journalist here, but being a former player, just nothing but pride.
After winning their first 8, they got shellacked at home by Navy. They lost a heartbreaker at Houston where they had a 20-point lead. So now all of a sudden it's back-to-back losses. I can't ask you to get into the minds of fans, but generally, what do you think the reaction should be when you look at the perception of the program, what they achieved, 8-0 start, which may be overachievement, and then lose 2 in a row and come back a little to reality? How should they look at Memphis football this season?
I think they should still be happy. They should still be grateful for what this football program is, because I'm pretty sure just like no one expected them to start the season off 8-0. I know I didn't expect them to start the season off 8-0. I guarantee you those players in their locker room didn't expect to start the season off 8-0. Now, did they think they can win every game? Of course they did, but in order to start off 8-0, even though they went on a little losing streak, fans should be extremely happy and grateful what this program is and what's going on, and it shouldn't take away any of the fun or any of the good times and good emotions that they have been able to experience from this football season just because they, went on a losing streak.
Doc, they won 10 games, as you know, last year. Yeah. They have a chance. They played Temple earlier today. We were taping, obviously, before they played, so we don't know that result, but they can win 10 again. They got a couple of regular season games with the Temple game included, and then they have a bowl game. Is this what we're going to start to see? Maybe not 10 wins a season, but this success, is this what we're going to start to see as a norm, or is this an anomaly? This is Fuente and Paxton Lynch. Everything was perfect, and they have a couple of good years, and then they'll go back to mediocrity.
You know what? I certainly hope not. I don't want to. I'm like a perpetual optimist. I've been waiting for this football program to turn around for years. When I played, we were good, but we were never like this. We have a lot more talent than this team has, but we never had seasons like the seasons that Fuente is having with these Tigers. So, keeping Fuente or getting another coach like him, holding on to him is key, whether we have Paxton Lynch or not. He's an incredible quarterback. But I think the foundation that he's laying with those young men and the attitude that he has in that locker room, because those guys work. They're humble. I never see them get excited when they're down. I never see them get upset when they're winning. I never see them get too excited. So to keep that kind of mindset and to keep a bunch of guys that believe in you and believe in what you're doing and believing in the system, that's going to be key and paramount to see if they can continue these winning ways. But I sure hope they do. As
you know, you also need the support of the administration, the support of the school. Tommy West famously left after he was relieved of his duties and went out guns a-blazing talking about the program, that they'll never get to where they want to be if there's not a commitment. Now there seems to be. They have not yet broken ground, but they will soon on the indoor facility. They've been raising millions of dollars for this capital campaign. It seems like with Dr. Rudd, it seems like with Tom Bowen, who was brought in as a football guy, that they know where their bread is buttered. It was basketball for years, but now it has to be football to take that next step. So do you believe that they are in a good position with the administration to get the type of support that Tommy said they always needed?
I think most definitely they are, because you hit the nail on the head. Dr. Rudd loves the football program. He's investing in the football program. He believes in the football program. Tom Bowen, football guy, he believes in Fuente. He believes in the football program. So to have those two guys going out, getting with the boosters and being a voice for the football program, because it is, this is a basketball town, but football does pay the bills. It does bring in the viewers. It does bring in the money. So to have Bowen and Rudd both on board trying to do something with this football program and build these new facilities, which you really need in order to compete with all these other schools, is huge, it's big, and I think they're going to continue to do that, because football, Memphis football, can be where we all want it to be, which is on the national level, and continue to be nationally respected.
Yeah, I always wondered if basketball can do it, why not football, though you need a lot more players for football to fill a roster. 55,000 fans showed up for the Navy game. 55,000 fans, which kind of tells people out there, especially from other conferences who may be looking to expand, Big 12, that it's capable, it's possible. Memphis can bring that type of fandom to their football games as long as they have a good product, but especially if they can get to another level playing in a Power 5 conference. Although the American has had a terrific year, it just shows how high the ceiling can be for Memphis football.
No doubt about it. And it was absolutely great, like you said, to see 55,000 people in there for a Navy game. It's not, Navy is a good football program, but it's not one of those high-level elite football programs. For to see 55,000 Tigers fans come out and support them the way they did, win, lose, or draw, it was good to see them in there because you normally only see crowds like that when Tennessee and Ole Miss come to town. So.
Right, and that's a great point. And Ole Miss came to town earlier in the season. Of course, the Tigers' biggest victory of the year against Ole Miss. And when you looked at that crowd, it was, 90% Memphis fans. And you're right, we normally see maybe even 50-50 when they play the big boys like Tennessee and Ole Miss. So that says an awful lot about these Memphis fans, that they will support a winner.
And I was surprised and happy to see that because I just knew it would probably be 70%. Speaking of the Ole Miss game, I just knew it would probably be 70% Tigers fans, 30% Ole Miss. But like you said, it was 95% Tigers blue and gray, and just a little small portion of Ole Miss fans. So Tigers football fans and Tigers fans have always been hungry for a winner in football, and now we're seeing that because they're starting to come out in droves on Tiger Lane before this kickoff when the team arrives to the Liberty Bowl and getting to the Liberty Bowl. So they're starving for the football program to do something, and fortunately for them, the football program is doing something right now.
The hiring of Justin Fuente was a home run. Was not made by Tom Bowen. I think most people know there was a committee. Brad Martin was on that committee. Alan Graff was part of that committee, a number of the movers and shakers in the city. And it came down to Jim McElwain and Justin Fuente, and they couldn't go wrong either way. It worked out perfectly. When Justin Fuente leaves, I'm going to ask you about that more in a second, the next hire, which will be Tom Bowen's first as a football head coach, is going to be extremely important.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm a perpetual optimist, so I don't even want to talk about. I hope he doesn't leave. We don't know if he's going to leave. We don't know. And people always say just because a coach has success at Memphis football, he's automatically going to jump ship. People say it's not a destination job. I know it's not a destination job for a lot of coaches, but I don't know what Fuente is going to do. I know he's an incredible coach. I don't know if this is a destination, but I know he's not high profile. He's not Hollywood like some of the other coaches we had, i.e. in basketball. So,
but you don't have to be Hollywood to take a job that offers much more money, much more support from the university, a Power 5 job. But your point's well taken. I think in this day and age where a lot of schools have to pay to get quality coaches, including Memphis. I mean, 1.7, whatever he's making now, is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
But then again, it's not $4, $5, $6 million. Can you retain a guy like that? I still think Memphis right now, in some regards, most regards, is a stepping stone job. But I think you're right, Doc. It doesn't necessarily mean, with all the offers that may come Justin's way, that he necessarily takes it. Family commitment, all that has to come into play now.
And that's just the way I like to think about it, because I would love for Coach Fuente to stay here. And nothing against the coach I played for, Chuck Stobart, but I would have loved to play for a coach like Justin, because what he is, he instills the confidence and a belief in those guys. And let's be honest about it. He doesn't have the most talent out there on that field when with these teams he's facing, but he's getting the most out of the young men that he has, and they're giving him the most. So I would love for him to stay around here. I hope he does stay around here. So I try not to entertain him leaving, because I hate for us to start back over because we have something good going, and they'll give him a raise.
But it'll eventually happen, Doc. That's why I'm saying the Tom Bowen hire, the next hire, whenever it is, after this year, 5 years from now, is going to be extremely important, because you've picked up all this momentum. You want to continue. You don't want to have all of a sudden a coach that comes in, the momentum's lost, and you regress back to what you used to have. Why can't they keep the momentum going with another guy?
I mean, they can. It's just if you came down to two choices with McElwain and Fuente the last time, I'm pretty sure if you get that same search group going, they can come up with some other candidates, because apparently they had a good formula going. They came down to those two guys. So in case he does leave, hopefully they'll do the same thing and we can keep it going. But you have to invest in the football program like they're doing, whether you keep him or not. And that also means a lot as far as getting players in here.
All right, let me ask you this. Having played the game, son who played the game, are still playing, right?
Still playing, yeah.
If you were in Paxton Lynch's shoes, you are climbing up the draft boards. All of a sudden now you're a first rounder, maybe the highest potential quarterback draftee. You're a junior, redshirt junior. You could come back for a senior year. You have to go, don't you?
No, leave. I mean, and I love Paxton Lynch, and I love my Memphis Tigers. But leave. You go to college, you play football, hopefully to get drafted. And you want to get drafted as high as you can get drafted. You go to college to get a degree, hopefully get the best job you can get. I don't think he can be any higher than where he is now. He's been here 4 years, like you say, he's a redshirt junior. He's incredibly athletic. He has an incredibly strong arm. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him now. So I would tell Paxton, hey, look, man, go make your money, start your professional career. Appreciate what you've done for us. We'll continue to follow you and keep up with you. But man, go ahead out there and live your dream, man, because you've done a lot for this university.
Doc, with the exposure that Memphis has received this year, over the last couple of years, putting together the seasons they have, the Paxton Lynch exposure, the Fuente exposure, and now some national recognition, what do you think that will do on the recruiting trail?
It's huge. It means a lot. Not only that, the atmosphere at Tigers games, you've been there with the DJ. I mean, even opposing teams come in and they're pumped because they're not necessarily I heard dozens of Ole Miss players when they came to the Liberty Bowl with the DJ playing and the atmosphere, and it's so exciting, and it's looking the way it's looking and it's feeling the way it's feeling. The recruits love that, and now playing on that pretty much on national television every year, every week,
right,
whether it's ESPN or ESPN2 or ESPNU, with so many channels. So you can be seen by family and friends, and you can be seen by NFL scouts who are just clicking and watching on television, because a lot of times they do that and they hear about you and they see you and they come watching. That means a lot. That means a great deal to recruits and players coming to a university and to a program.
We all expect the landscape of college football to change once again. Maybe in a couple of years, maybe 5-10 years down the road, that there'll be more expansion, possibly with the Big 12. Where will Memphis be 5 years from now?
Hopefully a part of one of those Power 5 conferences. We deserve it. They deserve it. I know everybody, the Big 12 is looking to expand. I think that's what everybody has their sights set. We can give up on the SEC. They're not messing with us for a number of reasons.
Right.
But I think we would be a part of the Big 12, because with the way this football program is playing now and the things they're doing and the look they have and the support they have, and you're putting 50,000 fans. And just think if you had those other teams from a Big 12 coming into the Liberty Bowl, Baylor and Oklahoma and Texas, think about it, you probably sell out every week. So five years from now would see us, if not in the Big 12, a part of a Power 5 conference. I'm not sure which one, because I think this university and this program is growing and going in the right direction and going exactly where it's supposed to go.
I like that thinking, Doc.
Perpetual optimist, my friend.
20 seconds. What should the perception, I'll go full circle from how we started this interview. What should the perception moving forward be about Memphis football?
Happiness. Be grateful. Optimistic. Continue to support these Tigers, because what they're doing is incredible. Amazing run so far, and they're still going on a run, and they're still in a position to do some amazing things this season.
All right, we like to end all our interviews with something we call 5 for the Road. Quick answers to simple questions. We're going to learn a little bit more about Marcus Doc Holliday.
There you go.
All right, we start off with your favorite professional sports team of all time.
Man, Oakland Raiders, but it has to be the St. Louis Rams since I played for them. But Oakland Raiders, yeah.
Okay, but you grew up a Raiders fan, and then when you became a member of the Rams,
loved the all black, loved the black and silver, man, loved it.
Favorite professional athlete of all time, any sport?
Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson. It's a tie. Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson.
Can't differentiate between the two.
No, man, two powerful running backs.
Okay, who do you think was the better player?
Oh my God!
I asked you the favorite, but who was the better?
College or pro? Just overall?
College.
Herschel.
It's tight, though.
It's tight. It's close.
Favorite music or musician or group, or what type of music do you like to listen to?
Temptations, man.
You're going Motown.
Love the Temptations, and the Temptations movie. My kids grew up. We had cable that they would watch that movie over and over again. The Temptations, best group ever. Jackson 5, Temptations.
So still 60s, early 70s Motown.
Yes,
Good
sir.
Stuff. Favorite movie of all time?
Friday.
Friday, no question.
No question.
How about a sports movie? What would it be?
I don't like sports movies, man.
No, get out of here.
I don't like sports.
You don't
movies.
like one sports movie?
They always exaggerate. They always exaggerate. I don't like sports movies, man. I don't like sports movies.
They too mushy at the end?
Well, they exaggerate what happens on the field. They exaggerate. I know it's a movie. They have a script, so I try not to watch them, man. I try not to watch them.
You mean in Blue Chips they didn't really get cars and things like that?
Oh, my God.
Okay.
But Loving Basketball. My wife loves Loving Basketball.
That's a great movie.
I say Loving Basketball.
Okay, final 30 seconds. I'll hit you up with favorite television show. When you're kicking back, you're not doing your work over at Channel 24 and 30. You're just watching the tube.
How the Universe Works.
Is that with the The doctor?
What's
his name?
Well, it's how the universe works, and it's through the wormhole with Morgan Freeman. It's really through the wormhole. I love Through the Wormhole.
Doc, always a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Keep up the great work.
Appreciate
That's Doc Holliday. We'll take a break. Overtime is next. The Mississippi River Kings are off to a sizzling start to the season, winning 6 of their first 8 games, heading into last night's contest against Knoxville at the Landers Center. That's good enough for first place in the Southern Professional Hockey League. Recently, the River Kings honored head coach Derek Landmesser for his time as a player with the River Kings. Landmesser's number 55 became the 3rd number retired in Kings history, after numbers worn by Don Parsons and the late Scott Brower. Landmesser is the franchise's all-time leader in games, points, and assists. He's also 2nd in penalty minutes and 3rd in goals. And here are some highlights from the ceremony.
For 10 seasons, you knew him as one of the most standout defensemen. Along the way, he racked up individual accolades, including 7 CHL All-Star appearances. In the 2009-10 season, Mess was named to the CHL All-Decade Team. Add on top of that, a UHL championship in 2002 in Muskegon, and a 2003 CHL President's Cup championship right here in this building. It's not a bad playing career. In addition to all of us here, there are a few other people from around the world who have something they'd like to say to you.
Good evening, Derek. Just wanted to say congratulations on having your jersey retired. Not only does this show all of the things that you've done on the ice, but more importantly, everything that you've done off the ice to represent the River Kings, yourself, and your family in the community of South Haven. On behalf of the Board of Governors and everybody with the SPHL, enjoy this night and congratulations.
Hey there, River Kings. Brian Tucker here. What a special night for Derek and his family. I had the privilege of playing with Mess for 4 years in Memphis. You know what you're getting from him every night, 100%. He was the guy you had on the ice in any situation. Not if you wanted to score a goal or defend against a goal. This couldn't happen to a better guy. Congratulations, Mess. Have a great night, guys. Bring the cup home.
Yeah, congratulations, Mess. It's a huge honor. You were one of my favorite teammates. My first year pro, won a championship together, so I wish you all the best. And it sounds like you're doing great, so good job.
Derek Landmesser's 10-year playing career with the River Kings ended after the 2010-11 season. He finished as the franchise's all-time leader with 627 games played, 563 points, and 462 assists. He is one of 4 River Kings to score 100 goals, finishing with 101 goals in his River Kings career. He was the CHL Most Outstanding Defenseman in 2000-2001, was a member of the All-CHL team 3 times, and won a President's Cup in 2003. All that success on the ice was matched with contributions off the ice in the Mid-South community.
I got a phone call 15 years ago, in the summer of 2000, and by then head coach Doug Shedden. He had just signed on as a first-year head coach here, and he called to recruit me that summer and said, "Hey, Mess, I'd like you to join our team. We're rebuilding a team down in Mississippi. Are you interested in coming down?" He's like, "We're starting from scratch. The team won 9 games the year before." So that was kind of a stumbling block for me, and I talked to my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, and I said to her, "What do you think about going down to Mississippi to play hockey?" And she kind of looked at me a little weird. She said, "They got hockey down in Mississippi?" And so we talked it over, and obviously I had a lot of trust in Sheds. He's a phenomenal coach. He had a great track record. Everywhere he went, he had won. So we made the trek for our first year down here, and like I said, over the next 10 years, I played with some unbelievable players, guys that made me better every night. Those bond and friendships I made with those guys. Like I said, some of those guys I haven't seen in 10 plus years. So you make those friendships, and I'll cherish those forever.
Great night, and congratulations to Derek. Well, here's some news about our upcoming schedule you'll want to take note of. With special programming connected to our pledge drive on the way, we will not air Sports Files on Saturdays over the next 3 weeks. The other normally scheduled airings will still take place, including Sundays at 9 a.m. Again, that'll affect the next 3 Saturday airings of Sports Files. And that'll do it for now. Have a great week, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.
Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.